listening to the Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast, brought to you by Real Goose Decoys, the most technological advanced silhouette decoys on the market, and Vortex Canada, the force of optics.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Episode 105 of the Union 0430. A late crew. I'm back. Missed last week, and that was an awesome show. Phil, you missed last week as well.
Yeah.
So both of us actually.
It was a gooder.
It was a gooder. Apparently there may be a ghost in this house. Oh, no, never mind. I heard a door open and then I couldn't see anybody. It was a gooder. I really liked it. And I think, Dave, I know you brought it up, but I think Sean Weaver needs to come back on because he sort of kind of hinted at a couple things that I'd really, really like to know his opinion on. So I think he really needs to come back. So we definitely got to pick at him and get him back onto the show. So at least Philly and I can throw some questions at him. But late crew. Ryan isn't feeling well. Mark is getting ready for his move across Canada. So you're stuck with Dave and Philly and I. But you know what? We're just going to do a little bullshit session tonight and try and clear up some things and get some stuff off the desk of things that we've been wanting to talk about for a while.
I believe the correct term is hockey sock.
A hockey sock worth of topics that we want to talk about. So first off, the heat that's happening right now down in the States, and I know it's getting pretty hot up in Ontario too, but I just noticed, so we're at, what is this, Thursday, right? Thursday the 21st. So the show will go out on Monday the 25th. Just read Bobby Hayes from Ducklander Calls, and he sent me a picture actually showing me his thermostat on his back deck, 105 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's in the mid 40s, I believe, right?
That's
somewhere in around. That's nuts. And he's saying that all the crop is getting burnt up right now. There's no rain and no rain in the forecast.
Yeah, straight drought. And it's been no better here in Durham region. We had a half decent downpour a couple of days ago, whatever it was, and then like there was supposed to be like that big rage in the storm to blow through. Was it last night, Dave?
Last night, yeah.
And I was actually like, I religiously check the weather, but I'm not big into like watching like the map and seeing where the clouds and shit go. But I actually checked it last night. I'm like, yeah, totally skating right around my place. I'm like, it could have used a little water on the grass. Like, come on,
Dave. You guys were under like a bit of a tornado warning and everything, right?
Yeah, we've been getting those like pretty constantly every single year now.
Really?
And even last year, like there was a couple tornadoes last year, and I actually drove by like a couple hours after one of them went through last year, and they're pretty devastating. I'm very surprised at it. Like, holy shit.
We had the one that blew through here, well, I guess about 2 months ago now.
Yeah.
Like Uxbridge got hammered.
Yeah.
And like we lost we were at the trailer obviously for the weekend.
You know where there's no tornadoes? Newfoundland. No tornadoes in Newfoundland.
No.
Every day of the week, it's 80, 90 kilometer hour winds, but no tornado.
Doesn't get any higher or any lower.
that wind only blows straight. You don't swirl.
Yeah, exactly.
But talking about the heat, do you guys think that this heat is a little bit later, like shifted? The summer's kind of shifted compared to other years. See, I've been stuck in the house, so I don't know, but
yeah. So a couple years ago in Kingston, I don't know about what it was other parts of Ontario and North America, but I'm going to say it was probably, I'll say 3 or 4 years ago, we had a drought. Like it was a drought, like the corn grow. There was no water in any of in the backwater spots, like the low water where the ducks were. Like there was no water, and it was a horrible year on ducks because they just passed over. There was nowhere for them to roost around here, so or around where I live, right? So I don't know and again, I'm not in Ontario right now, so I don't know what's happening.
So
I'm getting a little bit concerned.
So last year was the firefighters breakfast, or last week, sorry, was the firefighters breakfast. And
don't you have one of those every day?
yeah, that's for full time. I'm just volunteered. Yeah. But no, this is like the one to raise funds, right? And there we got, and I'm looking at it like we're in July and I'm seeing pictures and people are wearing sweaters and stuff, right? Like, I don't know. I'm wondering if it's shifted. And then I start thinking, like, is this going to affect duck season? Like, we won't get the migrators until later because it's still warm out, right? So
well, that was the story last year, right?
We'll just have to shoot the resident birds.
Well, there's only one way to tell the difference. So, but yeah, it's I think it's just going to shift everything, and I wonder if this is the new normal, right? So,
well, there has been talk, like, I don't think it's so much for Eastern Ontario, and sorry to all our listeners, this is going to be Ontario centric for the next little bit, but where was I going to go to this?
Something with weather.
And Easter, something about Easter.
Oh, anyways, it'll come back to me. Something about Easter. I just rabbits.
Yeah.
No, it's just like last year. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. So there has been talk, not so much in Eastern Ontario, but like down in Southern Ontario, like there's been talk down there now for a couple years. Why don't we push the start date to the right? Because there's no birds around, because it's just so warm, right? Yeah. And why not push the start date to the right so that it finishes later in January, which is when you're getting those bigger flocks of birds that are starting to migrate down south, right? So maybe, and obviously 2 years isn't enough to make the Canadian Wildlife Service change their mind, but maybe this is the beginning of seeing a later start to duck season just because of the warmth, right?
Yeah, but do you think if they shift the season that they start reducing the season dates?
No, I don't think so, because we still have the healthy population. We still have the numbers. They're just coming through later. So I think they just extend it. Now for a place like, say, so a place like Kingston, if they were to extend it, it would sort of kind of suck because everything is froze up by Christmas, right? Whereas other places, well, and especially down in Southern Ontario where it's such big agricultural, well, they still got crop, they still might have areas of a food source for especially the geese to come through on, right? So I don't know, man. It's there's people that get paid a lot more money than what we do that make those decisions. It's just last year was a struggle. The first 2 months last year was a struggle to find birds and to get on any numbers of birds, or at least they were for me anyways. So
I didn't find, especially with the ducks, I was shooting a lot of singles and a lot of paired singles, right? But no big flocks were coming in. And the only time a big flock did come in, there was one coot in the flock, and
shot the coot.
We're
gonna start calling
you Logan.
Yeah. Flock of ringnecks come in, and I shoot the front one, and the magic pellet, like
yeah, of course,
got the first one. The magic pellet hits a freaking coot. I'm chasing it in my kayak, going, "Oh, Jesus Christ, this is embarrassing."
I hope nobody's watching.
Yeah, could have been a merganser.
That's right. But yeah, so anybody that's listening, and I've got some things to pass on later about our analytics and stuff that I've been reading the last couple of days because I've been bored shitless. But if anybody's listening, and if you're noticing, or if you're beginning to see a trend, or if you're worried about something, make a comment on the YouTube page, or however you're listening on the podcast. Just leave a comment and let us know what's happening in your area, right? Because like we've got people now from coast to coast to coast that's listening all around North America, and I would really love to know what is happening in your area, and if there's any talk of changing anything. I think it's too early to
Well,
decide if they're going to change anything, but
they're in like I heard someone talk about someone who's looking at hatches and stuff, saying, "Oh, it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year."
mm-hmm.
That's all well and good for up where they're
Yeah.
hatching up northern Manitoba and all that stuff, but like
Doesn't bring
without
us-
that weather to push them down this way, right?
That's right.
Like that's
right.
the big thing. Like you've got that frost line that kind of dictates a little bit of where they're going, and if we don't get that, we're not going to get those. There could be the greatest hatch ever. We're not going to get those migrating birds as much, right? So
Good, really good point. Like, we know that there was a healthy hatch this spring. We know that everybody's reporting it, not just our contacts, Dave. But everybody's reporting it. But if we don't have those cold fronts pushing birds,
Yeah.
you know, maybe the Dakotas, Minnesota and the Dakotas, maybe they're in for a banger this year. You know, who knows? Who knows, man? All I know is with what I'm seeing temperature wise, I'm really wishing that it was fall right now, and that we could skip the month of August and get right into September. But
yes,
you know what I like?
Agree.
The things that I like to hunt after in the fall is days like yesterday, where those like big storm, like tornado warnings and wind warnings, and then you go out the next day and like that one stupid bird that, you know, like a canvas back all of a sudden shows up where you've never seen one before. Like,
yeah,
like, oh, I'm lost.
Just got blown in.
Got blown off
cinnamon
track.
teal.
Oh yeah, like
ain't Kansas anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, get a cinnamon teal blows in.
yeah,
Pinard.
yeah.
So I did want to. So yeah, so I kind of alluded to it. So I've been looking at the analytics. Which, you know, is growing a lot, and thanks to everybody that's listening, who continue to listen, because the retention numbers are amazing. So not only do you just listen to one, you come back and you keep listening. So we can't thank you enough for that. But I think, Dave, I sent you, I think over a three week span, or like, and you explained it differently than the way I understood it. So I said it was, I think, 1,500 downloads, but you said it was 1,500 different people.
Yeah. So if you look like it's not saying you've got, you know, 300 people in 300 downloads in Canada. You've got 300 people in Canada downloaded, like 300 individual devices over the course of the month.
Right.
Right. And then there's another thing that shows you like the exact number of downloads per episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like some people can download 5, 10, 15 episodes.
Yeah. All at once. Right.
Yeah.
So
you want to see the membership.
Yeah. We need to see that.
Which a little embarrassing. We're Canada's #1 waterfowl podcast, and the most listeners are from the United States.
Yeah.
We're international.
We're
international, Davey. Don't piss my cornflakes. International.
Well, we're in Europe now.
Yep.
International.
There's
international is the States too, right? If we're outside of Canada, it's international.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is that we're in Europe, we're in Brazil, we're in New Zealand.
Wasn't there like a weird like Puerto Rico or something?
Yeah,
I was like,
there was a weird one on there.
That's a fucking hacker.
Papua New Guinea.
That's a hacker.
Yeah, Papua New Guinea.
That's someone that's watching things on the internet. That's someone that's on the dark web and has changed his IP address. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on to you, Mr. Puerto Rico. We know what you're doing, watching smut films and stuff.
Oh God. Oh boy.
Oh boy. And we're going down that rabbit hole now. No, so it's all good. So
has there been any more said, not to change the subject, but I'm changing the topic. Has there been any more said about carrying birds across the border due to the avian flu?
Haven't heard anything other than that initial report that came out saying that that it was the Americans, right, that said that they weren't going to allow anybody coming back into the States to bring back birds from Canada, right? So after that initial, I haven't heard anything.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go from the States to Canada?
It didn't say you couldn't.
Yeah.
Good point.
Right. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
But
good point.
Yeah. And like the birds aren't going to fly across the border, right?
No.
Right?
Those are Canadian birds.
Yeah.
They don't go down to the States.
They hit the border and whoa, pump the brakes and shut.
Yeah. Where's your passport, buds?
Yeah.
Do you have both your shots?
Are you a Canadian goose?
Are you a resident
Mm-hmm.
goose?
Yeah, or that.
I bet you there's a lot of people that's Googling how to tell a resident goose. But if you go back to a bunch of episodes,
Google.
and you'll be told how to tell a resident goose. We're never repeating that story ever again, but
no,
we did talk about it on this show once before.
I
did want to talk about
I wanted to bring that up because like I wonder if that's going to affect the guide services and the number of Americans coming up here, or do you think that because of the past 2 years there's going to be an influx of people because like, hey, we haven't been able to? I think we're going to get more people coming up than
making up for lost time.
Right. Making up for lost time.
I don't know, because obviously I've only been out west to a guide once. And we brought back all of our birds. But I don't think most. Yeah, we drove.
Yeah, you drove when you were inter-Canadianal.
Yeah, inter-Canadian. We're national.
Interprovincial.
Interprovincial. There you go. Marmalade. But I don't know how many out of country, out of province, out of state people comes back with birds anyways. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think people come back with some. I don't think they come back with, like, if you're out west for a week, dude, that's a lot of birds you got to bring back with you because you're hitting your limits every day.
So what do the guide services do with all that meat? Like every company can't have a Ryan Bro to eat it all. Right?
Yeah. Good point.
Like, he just crushes the snacks.
Well, no,
I think
he turns the goose meat into those chicken balls from the from the Chinese restaurant.
That's right. I think like, and I could be way out to lunch when I say this, but I think food banks can get it if it's coming from an established guide service that have the paperwork and the permits and the industrial kitchen, to sort of kind of ensure everything is packaged safely and stuff. And then I know when we were out west, I said we brought back all ours, but we didn't, because there was a lady that lived next door who loved it, and she had sons, and she liked making stuff for them. So she took a lot, not a lot, I guess, but she took a bunch. So I don't know, maybe they help out people around, and
it'd be nice if we could do more of that here in Ontario.
Right. What's that? The food banks?
Like be able to donate wild game and whatever. And just, at the end of the day, it's people helping people, right? We get to go out. We get to, scratch the itch. We get to, spend the time in the outdoors, hunt, and, at the end of the day, you might be like, say, a single guy, or just maybe you and the wife, and you shoot a deer. Like, that's a lot of meat. And you may have, like, like, half of this might go to waste, or as it is, I already give it out to a bunch of like my friends and stuff, because you're legally allowed to. You're allowed to gift it. But like, it'd be nice to see, like, again, go to a good cause. Go to these food banks, help people in need, even if it gets, say, repurposed to families, and maybe not necessarily used in, like, say, a food bank, or like, I guess like soup kitchen,
and that's
type of thing, where like you basically show up and it's like a buffet for you. Just make use of it one fashion or another.
And you see that in the States. Like, I've seen a few videos and read some articles on like the wild boars. Like they'll shoot a wild boar and then donate it to the food bank or the soup kitchen or whatever. And
it's wild pork.
Yeah,
it's pork.
It's delicious food.
Can we not donate? Like, if we have all the health permits. It'd be good to have Craig Lalonde on that, because Craig is the food inspection guy. I'm really curious on if someone had all of the permits and all the I's dotted and T's crossed, would they be able to donate to a food bank? I can't see why not.
Like if it can be done in like other provinces and other states, why are we so friggin' different here? Because it's unterrible.
Like,
That's why.
So you look at like Cobb's bread, right? Like Cobb's bread. So every night, and I'm sure they do this at all their franchises, but in Kingston, at the end of the night, whatever wasn't sold, it all goes down to the food bank. Everything.
So we have one that just opened recently around the corner from our place, like our station.
Yeah.
And yeah, like getting in the night, things get packaged up.
Yeah.
And it's properly, you know, donated and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
So
they make
if
some
Cobb's bread
delicious
is doing it,
stuff.
yeah, they do. But if
Yeah.
Cobb's bread is doing it, I would think that you know, friggin' like
Yeah.
your local butcher
Like,
can
why
do
is
it.
this so difficult?
Well, but the local butchers don't, like when it comes to big game, like they don't process deers often, right?
Yeah.
Like our local butcher won't take a deer in.
No.
No, because of the is it CWD? Like they're
That
Chronic
disease.
wasting?
the chronic wasting disease. They gotta like there's some kind of process where they have to like shut the shop down, clean it all up.
Yeah.
I don't know it for sure. So like,
Right.
but I know there's some
Um,
kind of process there that it's like it's not worth it for them to do it for a
They're-
day.
Like obviously it's a little different. Like I was moose hunting up in Thunder Bay, and we have a butcher, and yeah, after hours, they do the full re, and they're butchering moose. It's all clean. It's all legit, and like everything gets wrapped, and like they hold on to your tag, so it goes with your pile of meat into the freezer. It's like,
Mhm.
this is the tag that belongs to this animal, and it belongs to this guy. Here's his contact info and the whole nine. And like they do an amazing job. They flash freeze it, so like when we pack up to go home, everything's frozen solid. We divvy up our meat into coolers, and away we go. But again,
Here-
it can be done. We can put man on the fucking moon. We can donate meat. Come on.
I don't believe that actually happened. So
Shut up, Dave.
Here's one. You said they take your
Dave
tag.
was-
He's like, what the fuck? I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
I think you two are idiots.
When he was
We're
jumping,
your special friends, though.
when he jumped onto the moon for the first time, there was a dust cloud and there's no gravity. Like, yeah, I've watched those. You probably think the Earth's flat too, eh, fucker?
Well,
It
Hope
is.
it's not real.
it is.
Yeah.
You're
Anyway.
a friend. You're a business partner.
Anyways, you were going to say something, Dave.
Yeah, like when you take big game in to get, like when you take it to
Butchered.
the taxidermist,
Mhm.
do you leave your tag with the taxidermist?
Well, for
I've
big
never-
game, for moose in Newfoundland, we have to. Even in Newfoundland. So when you bring it home and it's in your freezer, that tag has to be with the meat in your freezer until all the meat is gone. And that's the same like
Weird.
when I would get my moose in Newfoundland and then like go back to Ontario or New Brunswick, wherever I was living at the time. When I was traveling, I had to carry the tag, which was weird because then Dad didn't have a tag because
Yeah,
there's only
if-
one tag, right?
If there's two of you, and obviously one person shoots the animal, but you split the meat,
But
like,
isn't
do you
that the s-
photocopy the tag? Like, what do you do?
Well, the tags in Newfoundland are metal.
Isn't that the
Like
same with
aluminum.
like if you're hunting in a group and like say it was the three of us and we shot a moose and we split the moose into three and like I'm heading to Kincardine and Phil's heading to where
Yeah.
he is and you're heading to Kingston, like when we split up only one of us
I have
has
no
that
idea.
tag.
Yeah, I
You
have
just,
no idea.
I think you just have to be able to get a hold of the person that had the tag originally.
That would make sense.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's what it is. Like
said tag.
I never really looked into it any more than Dad saying, "Hey, make sure you take the tag when you travel, so that they can't say anything to you."
if
Like,
you're a big
okay.
game hunter, comment down below.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Like-
I like that.
like, subscribe.
Comment down below.
I-
And
you know
and
what?
if you've noticed, Dave's voice is angelic this evening.
And I would also like to point out that I'm going to say comment down below a lot more because I love the fan interaction lately. Like when they mention when they comment something like good or bad, it either helps us or we learn something or so I love it. So comment down below.
Or even like I said, message the boys on the Punisher account on either Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
Whatever floats your boat.
Catch Phil on Only Phil's, $9.99 a month.
Oh yeah. All proceeds go to just putting gas in my goddamn truck.
He also buys fishing lures.
Musky fishing's expensive, so
Buddy,
help him out with some lures.
Don't get me started.
He's a hooer lure.
This has been a bad year.
Yeah. I did want to talk about so Dave and I recently done episode 3 of this P&P podcast with Jeff Coates, and we had mentioned that the 19th of July being a pretty big day for us, and I would think for most waterfowlers too, especially if you listen to us and you like us, then I'm assuming you would like to show duck lore, which season 2 came out on the 19th. First Light launched their waterfowl lineup. That not everything, and I get it. Maybe some people were looking for some things.
They're taking some criticism.
Oh, they are.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, like, they're getting eaten up a little bit there on yeah.
Like if you guys remember back to when we had Paul Peterson on, like that was almost 2 years ago, and they were working on the waterfowl line then. And it took them a year and a half before they started getting people to review it, privately. And then now it's released. Like, you got to think that there's more coming. They're just working on it and trying to make it the best that,
Well,
Jesus.
I think there's a bunch. Oh, go ahead, Phil.
I've seen a lot of the comments and whatnot that have been made, like in the First Light groups and stuff. And like at the end of the day, if you don't like what they're putting out, make your own shit. There you go. You don't fucking like what First Light's putting out. Quit your bitching. Either 1, buy some other product, or 2, make your own shit. You think this stuff's so not good, you know better? Make your own shit and make it better.
I think
there's my little angry Phil.
I just think there's some people that are trolls, right? Like they're just going to complain for the sake of complaining.
That's the problem. That's the problem with Facebook, is not enough people are getting their fucking teeth punched in.
I would like to point out something good though. First Light Hunting, if you go to their page, it's been in the works, but they just announced it. As the official apparel sponsor of Delta Waterfowl, they're extremely excited to announce that they've partnered with Delta Waterfowl.
Awesome.
And this is going to expand. So all along, it's been Camel for Conservation initiative. So proceeds from certain camel patterns will go towards I think one of them was the NDA. And so this one with Typhon now being released, a portion of their Typhon sales are going to go towards Delta Waterfowl to further their mission of duck production, habitat conservation, and research dedicated to protecting duck breeding. That's huge. That's good.
That's huge, man. So can you imagine you're the dude in charge of corporate sponsorship at Delta Waterfowl? That's your job. And then on Monday morning, you got to walk into this month's board meeting and you go, I just landed First Light, and a portion of every sale of this camel pattern's coming to us.
About the only better
mic drop.
Yeah.
About the only better reason to buy something to support conservation other than the First Light gear that you're going to need anyway is that one that was like drink beer, save ducks or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the Spearhead when they did for the Ducks Unlimited, come on, I'm drinking beer anyway, right?
Yeah. Drink a beer anyway. So why not support ducks? It's all about the ducks. So that was pretty good.
And furthermore, for those that haven't really seen it, there's a number of items that are available at Tangle Free with the Typhon pattern. The panel blinds are going to be available in Typhon. There's the duck strap, floating gun case, dog blind,
dog vest.
Dog vest. I think marsh stool as well. There's a
marsh stool.
If you go on First Light's website, It's all listed in the drop down for like the waterfowl stuff that's available. And I haven't actually physically been on Tangle Free's website, but imagine you'd be able to see said products.
It's on there. It's the same price either way. You know what? It'd be really good if we could get someone from Tangle Free on the show to talk about Tangle Free. I'm just saying.
Hey, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was a little bit of foreshadowing on Dave's part.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen. I think rather sooner rather than later, actually, because that was the point I was gonna make, is that over the last 3 days, and Tangle Free has always got a very good social media presence. But the last 2 or 3 days, they've been just First Light, Tangle Free coming together, doing this thing. Obviously, and Tangle Free, they're not exclusive to First Light. They do it with other companies as well. But they do seem like they're really, really stoked about it. And with Tangle Free being a direct-to-consumer business and First Light being a direct-to-consumer business, it just made sense that both of them came together and put this out. So I love it. But I want to talk about duck lore, because did you watch that? Oh, sorry, Dave, if you want to keep going here.
I was just going to say, I need 2 more panel blinds, and I was thinking I would order 1 direct from Tangle Free and 1 direct from First Light and compare.
See which one gets there faster.
I can tell you which one is going to get there faster.
So can I. First Light.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're talking about duck lore.
Buddy, can you imagine how creepy that must have been to go out on the water that morning and see all those ducks frozen? Like, that's creepy, dude.
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of spoonies too, right? No, shovelers.
Same thing. Doesn't matter.
I was like, I'm missing something here.
Shoveler.
He's either fucking with me or he's fucked in the head. I don't know.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Hashtag both.
Yeah.
Shoveler.
Did
you see Sean Weaver's account and the picture he posted with our friend Logie Bear?
Oh, in
Missouri?
When they were freezing?
In Missouri?
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit of foreshadowing. I don't know though. I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's probably a safe bet.
Yeah. But that's a great show. Yeah, you're right.
It's an awesome show for the simple reason that things don't work sometimes. You can do all the scouting and all the planning and have all the gear and all the knowledge, but it just don't work sometimes. And that's why I like the show, because you know, it's as close to real as you're gonna get, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I like it. And Sean is a extremely knowledgeable and intelligent guy when it comes to this stuff. So that's what I like. I like hearing the things. I really want to pick his brain on a couple of things that he sort of alluded to on the show last week. So
the other thing I'm liking for waterfowl content is I'm like, if you search waterfowl on TikTok, there's some pretty interesting stuff that shows up, and stuff that we've talked about on the show. Like, you know, if you set out bait for deer, like a corn pile, and you hunt like 100 yards away from that corn pile that's for deer, it's still close enough to be considered baiting for ducks, right? Whatever the distance is, right?
Yeah.
And there was a group that got busted for doing just that, and they posted the whole story on TikTok.
What else have we seen in the news lately? Well, we could say this now, Dave. We are doing a second Punisher camp.
It's going to be official. It's official as of today. We finally worked out all the details.
Yeah.
By the time people listen to this, the camp will already be full. Right. So, it's going to be an Arm Prior area. Logan McNulty. Logan McNulty with Fair and Foul.
The Coot Commander.
The Coot Commander, yeah. Logan McNulty is going to be hosting us with Phil Savvy from PVS Game Calls. I think before we get there, we might do a little chat with them at some point. But
we should have both of them on the show.
That's what I mean. Well, Phil's been on.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I missed. Was I on that episode?
Yeah.
I don't know if you were on.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Because it was Phil and Phil 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's going to be good. It's going to be a goose hunt instead. So camp number 1 is the co-ed. We're going to try out the co-ed, see how it goes. And it's going to be a duck with Highland Waterfowl, Rich and Britt Fanning.
Yeah.
They're going to be hosting that. The second one's going to be a goose camp. We're going to try afternoon ducks if it goes well, but we'll see about that. But yeah, it should be a good time.
Well, and I think we can talk about this now, but the cool thing about that hunt, the second camp, is we're going to do it exclusively with real geese, right?
100% real geese decoys.
100% real geese. So it's going to be nothing but real geese silos out in the field. And I tell you what, this is going to be as close to an honest to goodness review on if silos work.
And Craig, if you're listening, it'd be really awesome if I could have a full spread of vivids.
Yeah, and say, just saying. Here, just send you my address.
Just throwing that out there.
Throwing it out there, Craig.
I did see he, which is not a surprise to us because Craig is such a good dude, but I did see he came up big for that Grimsby festival with real geese. So he threw in a nice prize pack there for the goose and duck calling competition. So crazy.
Craig, if you're listening, you've got an open invite to camp number 2.
Ooh, yeah.
And it'll be a good time.
Yeah, it would come to Kanakistan and
shoot some gooses over some real goose decoys.
Canadian gooses.
Canadian gooses. Yeah.
So yeah.
How
many dozen do you think we'll need per field by then? I was going to bring 15. 15 dozen was kind of like where I was going at.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think I wouldn't go less than 10 dozen.
Yeah.
Like that, that would be the absolute minimum.
Yeah.
Would be 10 dozen.
It's always good to have more than you need, right?
Yeah,
you don't have to put them in the truck. You can always leave them in the truck, but you can't pull things out of the truck you don't have. So
yeah, absolutely.
I run 16 dozen, and I'm like legit tempted to buy a couple, like probably at least another 3 dozen to add.
Yeah. Now your spread, what do you like? You got Pro Series and black and whites, I'd hope.
I got shadows.
All shadows
and a couple others. But the shadows, like, they pop. Like, people like bitch and whine, like, oh, you got to have like super realistic, and it's not like, honestly, if you want to spend the money and like the Pro Series, which are like at a phenomenal next level silhouette, you can. But if you're, a little bit more budget conscious and you don't have, the money to put into, a spread of Pro 2s and whatnot, but you still want like a high volume spread, the shadows work. I use shadows. I got a whole pile of them, and they kill birds, and they pop. Because I'm one of those guys, like, I'll go out and I'll walk around. I'll walk out 60, 70 yards, 80 yards, and do a big circle around my spread just to see how things look at the movement and whatnot. And yeah, like, they suck birds. It's just the death vortex.
Yeah. If you were new to hunting right now and you were looking to get into some goose decoys, I would honestly suggest looking at the Shadow series. More particularly, I'd look at the Punisher pack.
100%.
That Punisher pack, you think about it, $86, I think it was at Canadian Waterfowl Supplies. $86, you can get a dozen. So what, $450, $430, you've got 5 dozen.
Yeah.
That's enough to start.
Yeah.
Like, I know we talk about like, oh, I wouldn't go less than 10. No, when I first started, like, I think we had 2 dozen like shells and some kind of plastic, some kind of bag kind of thing. Like, we didn't have much and we still shot birds.
Yeah.
So if you want to get your feet wet, like $450, your gun, your shells. Yeah, there you go.
And like, that's a reasonable spread. Like, if you're, say, shooting, 1, 2, maybe even 3 hunters.
Yeah.
You can get away with that. No problem.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, you're not making the big monster spread with the big wings coming down, like, like the horseshoe or whatever, but just it's your blob of birds.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, again, like,
I-
when you have the numbers of decoys, and obviously Damien can attest to this when you and Mark came out, when you have that number of decoys, like you can, manipulate your spread, to do a blocker wall, depending on your wind and all this other jazz. But if you don't have those big numbers, like you can just kind of do the blob and just, face downwind, and you make the best of it. You make, those small adjustments. Even if you say put 3 decoys out or 4 decoys out to make your blocker wall, it's still better than nothing. And
I don't want this to come across as mean or bad or anything, but I think
too late.
like some of this stuff that we're saying, like this is part of the reason that we have this conversation, like what's happening with the waterfowling world, right? Because for some reason now it's easy for the 3 of us to say, I think the minimum is 10 dozen decoys. Well, we've all been hunting for, well, except Dave, because Dave was late coming to the game, but he's managed to poke away a few dollars enough to get himself a great rig. But you don't need 10 dozen decoys in order to kill birds.
No.
And I think, so what I'm getting at is that if you're a new hunter and all you're watching is YouTube videos and you're reading social media about gear and what you should have and stuff, it's got to seem like a mountainous thing to get over as a new waterfowler, because you got to be wearing the best gear, you got to have all these decoys, you got to have these crazy guns, you got to be shooting this crazy good ammo, stop. Get out in the woods. Get out to a body of water or a field. That's all that matters right now.
Yeah, just get outside.
There's lots of time for you to build your spread. It's lots of time for you to go out and dump the money on new First Light gear. Get out.
And real geese decoys and Vortex optics.
Or you want to get into hunting waterfowl, get out and scout.
Yeah.
And when you see a guy with a Punisher waterfowl sticker in the back of their window, or any other waterfowl looking at the same field of geese, roll down the window, say, "Hey, I'm really new. I'd like to get into this. I'll invite you out. I don't care.
Yeah,
come on out."
Yeah, absolutely. I've been again, this conversation has come up the last couple of days with people I've been talking to, and more and more this conversation is coming up about, well, what good is that to the waterfowling world? Like, what is this guy doing that's good for the community? What's this girl doing that's good for the community? This brand, this social media channel, all of this stuff, and these comments are coming up. Well, what good is it? What good is it? If they're out and they're doing something, if it draws one person, as long as they're not being illegal or unethical, who cares what they're doing?
Yeah.
Really, if they're getting somebody else out, as long as they're not breaking the law or being a douchebag, then get out there and drag somebody else out with you.
At the end of the day, they're getting into the sport. Now, in turn, they're traveling and going places, so they're supporting small communities to their economy. And now they're, hey, like, this is a lot of fun. Now, like, they're talking to their buddies and they're sucking their buddies into it. So now there's, that one guy has just added 2 buddies, 3 more buddies into like the waterfowling community. So now those guys are pumping money into the economy. Oh, like, I want to do more. Next, these guys are part of DU. They're part of Delta.
Yeah.
It's a huge ripple effect. Just by, just by taking that one guy out, say, hey man, I'm new. Can you help me? And, someone that's, been doing it for a number of years helps that, that new guy out. You yourself as, the seasoned guy has had a huge effect on the waterfowling community by spending that time and teaching the guy, like, look, here's how I do things. I feel these are, the right and proper way to do things, the ethical way. et cetera, you know, that whole chain. And because you've had that great impact on that new hunter, he's now pumping that same, you know, stuff into other guys. And again, huge ripple effect. And you're supporting these companies like Real Geese and, you know, the conservation groups like DU and Delta. Like, again, it is a huge ripple effect.
And there's multiple ways to skin a cat too, right? Like, I guarantee you, if I went and I hunted with Phil and his buddies, they would set up one way. But then if Phil came and hunted with me and my buddies, we'd set up a little bit of a different way too. Same with Damien. Like, if I go down and hunt with Damien, you know, so be a sponge, learn, watch what's going on, ask why.
There's no hard and fast rules to this.
There's a couple things that you got to do every time, but you know, other than that, do whatever you want. It's a crapshoot. You're trying to fool something with a brain the size of a pea that seems to outwit the best of us.
Every day.
Yeah, they'll humble
Every
you.
day.
That's for sure.
So you mentioned it. What do you think some of the common rules would be between, no matter where you go? Like, my one would be, if there's someone going out to pick up the geese that you shot, unload, like take a round out of the chamber and have your gun on safe. Like,
Well, for me, the common one is when you set up, the location of the wind, right? Like, that's the one. Like, that's a hard and fast. Like, that will determine how you set up, is where the wind is.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That one. So safety and just the general behavior of the animal is kind of the two things that are going to govern the commonalities, right?
Yeah, like if guys are like, and it's different if you're running a dog or not running a dog, but you know, if guys are out running around trying to grab, you know, chickens, either take your gun with you, because you don't want to be that guy that's running around like an idiot with his head cut off around a cornfield chasing a goddamn crippled goose. Number one reason why I own dogs, because I don't chase birds no more. But if they're like legit dead birds and you guys are out picking up birds, or the dog's doing it, and you're out, throw your gun in your layout blind and lay it up to where your pillow is, your headrest, so it points out the back of the spread. Because again, all your dead birds should be in front of you or slightly off to the sides. Throw your gun behind you, it's in the safe direction. You know, that's a big thing for me. Don't shoot if the dog's out running around. Let Fido do his thing. Save your ammo. Let the dog get tired. It's cheaper.
If the guy that has the dog also brings a shovel, that shovel's for you. Don't shoot his dog. He'll take the dog to the vet after he buries you.
There's 3 rules to hunting with a dog. 1, don't shoot the dog. Number 2, don't shoot the handler. Number 3, you break rule 1. So you break rule number 1, you sure as shit better break rule number 2.
Yeah. So here's a question, Phil. As a
Yes,
dog,
David?
when you're handling your dog, if you went out to the bathroom or something and left your dog there, would you expect the guys in the blind to be looking after your dog?
He ain't going anywhere.
He ain't going anywhere, right?
No.
Yeah.
Again, that is all case by case. You can't set that in stone. Yeah. I know my dog, and I don't care if I've hunted with you 1 day or 100. Every morning when we set up, here's the rules of my dog. 1, don't tell me how to handle my fucking dog. There is no rule number 2. That's
it.
So why is it? Never mind.
Yeah, don't tell me how to handle my fucking dog. So, my dog is a hunt retriever champion. Believe me, he knows fucking more than you do, likely.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how to handle my dog. You'll never see the inside of my fucking blind again.
Yeah. Jesus. So are you still guiding this year, Phil?
Fuck no.
No? Done with that?
COVID.
Fuck no, he says.
Are you thinking it'll ever come back?
Well, buddy, I am always available. Like, I don't advertise it, so to speak. But for the sake of, like, you know, someone's, you know, if it's a referral from like a friend of a friend, like, hey, you know, these people, like, they want to get out. Like, we know you fucking crush geese, whatever. Yeah, I'll take people out. But I'm not like actively advertising for clients. Just because, like, I got so much going on, like doing the photography thing now with a couple companies, and obviously, you know, the camps with us and whatnot. Like it's getting a little overwhelming, but you know, if it's a referral, kind of a friend of a friend, 100% I'll take the people out. I'll make it work. So I just kind of toned it down a little bit, but still kind of doing it.
So here's one for you guys. I had it sent to me today that there's a company, it's down in the States. It looks like a husband and wife couple that are now offering guided shed hunts. Yeah.
Like
On
I-
public land?
So legit, this was sent to me, and the first thing I did was said, "Fuck, this must be April 1st." Like, so I checked the date, and no, we're still in July. I didn't miss a year. But yeah, let me
You
just
didn't
see
fall
if I
and
can,
bump your head.
didn't fall and bump my head. And
Just your
yeah,
collarbone.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's okay. See if I
You
can
got
find
two.
that post. I got two, and that's just my. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, I got metal in this side now, so yeah, kind of.
they're like a cyborg now, eh?
Bionic man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal. I'm a
one thing you
cyborg.
don't do is joke around before the surgery with the surgeon. Anyway,
No?
that's another story.
No sense of humor.
Yeah.
So okay, so the shed hunting and listen, okay, I get it. This is a Waterfowl podcast. We're talking about sheds. But I think this could relate to fucking to anybody, because if you can think of a way to make $1, someone's going to pay you. It may not be the most popular thing, but I guarantee you one person's going to pay you.
Mhm.
And I have no doubt in my mind that somebody
People will
pay.
buy anything.
That's right. And we live in a society now where what you post on your social media determines who you are, or that's the way we're led to believe. So as long as you don't have the guide with you and you're out in the woods and you find a great set, especially if you can find a matching set,
Who doesn't love finding a great set?
Mhm.
and you show a picture of that, well, fuck, that person's now legitimized. They've got picture proof of it. So you know what, if that's what people want to do, fucking go for it. But I think you're taking away the whole thing when it comes to shed hunting, because shed hunting is supposed to be, in my opinion anyways, it's supposed to be like a luck of the draw sort of thing, right? You're really just out walking through the woods with hopes of picking the path that's going to get you a shed.
And in fairness, if you don't post it on social media, did it really happen?
This is true.
Yeah. But look at Ontario, right? Like, other than the private farmland that I have access to for hunting, I don't know a lot of great public land. Like, I know where public land is, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know where there's enough of it that if there was a decent amount of shed hunters in the area that we could all go. So maybe this is just a way of people getting access to walking, you know.
Remember way back when we had like Eric Massey on the show, and Eric Massey brought up a point one day where he had said, listen, like there's a girl out there that gets 1 day a week to do something, be it shed hunting, duck hunting, whatever it is that's their hobby. They get 1 day a week to do that. And if they want to increase their chances, personally, I wouldn't pay someone to go shed hunting. But if that's something that's important to that person, they get 1 day a week to do it. Fuck it, go for it.
If you lived on the 37th floor of an apartment building in Toronto,
yeah.
Oh, I don't need a gun. I can just go out, put on some nice sneakers and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Blundstones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are like shitty work boots in Australia, aren't they?
Skinny jeans.
And we're wearing them here like fucking fashion designer shit.
Is that true?
I think so.
You're more in tune with the world than the rest of us, Dave. So
I'm gonna look it up.
And you are recovering from surgery, and all you do is surf.
If you said Pornhub. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've watched all of YouTube.
Yeah,
which is quite the feat, right? Like, you know,
Dave's days consist of perks and Pornhub.
Yeah.
There's 2 rules.
Yeah.
Don't touch my Percocets. And do you have any Percocets?
Trying to look it up,
Yeah.
but do you know how hard it is to type with just one arm?
I do know, because when I asked you to do something, you're like, I can do that, but
Finger
you need to
picking.
type it up for but he's like, you
Finger
need
picking.
to type it up for me. I'm like, yeah,
Finger
fair.
picking, but just with one.
Yeah.
We love you, Dave.
Love you, Dave. Boys, we got about, I think,
We're
about
only
5
making-
minutes left.
We're only making fun of you because we love you.
I think we got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wha-
So
What's going to happen? The podcast time police are going to come like shut us down.
Yeah. What if we go an hour and 5 minutes? Is this like feeding us after a certain time?
Fucking
Just
gremlins.
change.
gremlins.
I used to have one of like the stuffed animal gremlins when I was a kid.
There's a generation of people that have no idea what the gremlins are and who
There's a
Mowgli
generation
is.
of people that don't know what it's like to get up off their ass to have to go change the channel on the goddamn TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. So here's a good one. So you're talking about that. So we're down visiting my wife's family, and the kids are like fooling around, going through closets and stuff like this, and they find like a camera, right? Like, you know, the
Fucking
camera.
Polaroid.
No, it wasn't a Polaroid, but it's the one where you had to buy the film, put it in, and then you had the little crank to get it all ready and stuff like this.
35 mil.
Yeah. So my daughter's like, oh, I'm totally going to bring this back with me and buy some film. And I was like, okay. And then my wife goes, you know that like once you take the picture, that's it. Like you can't look at it to see if your hair was okay or whatever, right? And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And I was like, and then like you realize you got to go buy film. And once you buy the film and you take all your pictures, then you got to go pay somebody to develop the film for you. And she was like, you have to pay somebody? And I'm like, well, who else is going to fucking do it for you? And she's like,
do you have a red room or black room?
so I said, that's what she said. Why can't
Dark
I just
room?
do it? And I was like, well, you don't have the facilities to do it. So you got to go pay
Dark
somebody.
room. Dark room.
I can remember when you used to have to send them away. Like we lived in a small town. So you would have to package it up, send it away. And like in 2 months, you would get your pictures back.
Yeah.
Well, and you think like my kids probably don't even know what the dial tone sounds like for DSL.
Yeah.
Or for
the struggle is
dial
real.
up.
dial-up
The
internet.
struggle
Sorry.
is
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. Our internet came in the mail.
Yeah. Do you want to know?
AOL.
This one blew my mind the other
Yeah,
day.
that disc, right?
Yeah. You know Cleopatra. Cleopatra,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She lived when she was alive.
Yeah.
Her timeline was closer to the computer age, which is what we're in now,
Mhm.
than it was to the pyramids.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that and I looked it up. I was like, no fucking way. But yeah. That's crazy. So the pyramid age, here, I'll look it up.
Google that.
Yeah, Google's awesome. Do you know when the first Google search was?
No, I do not.
1998, I think it was. Yeah. Just some random facts that I learned on TikTok while I've been laying on the couch.
Hey, have you ever read those Uncle John bathroom readers? That's the most useless information you can ever find. There are 872 stitches in a regulation size basketball or baseball. Sorry.
Clearly, you're watching this.
So Cleopatra committed suicide in 30 BC, which was 2,049 years ago, when this article was written. And the Great Pyramid of Giza was built around 2580 BC, which is 2,510 years before Cleopatra was born. So, yeah.
There you go.
Sure.
Bing, bing, bing.
Crazy.
And then there should be a star
And
going
now you
across
know.
the screen. The more you know.
Yeah. See,
Right.
I don't know, all these
Did-
famous facts. I'm just like, that is crazy. That's
Did
mind-boggling.
she shoot a Benelli?
I don't know, but I think she was pretty hot. I think she was the inventor of Benelli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Just as you guys were talking, I get a message what kind of gun do you shoot? And I'm like, I shoot a, and I'm like, I shoot a Beretta. I was like, what are you looking at? He was like, oh, I'm just talking to a guy in my neighborhood, and he's got a 1965 Browning Auto 5 Magnum.
Buy it.
Yeah.
If you don't, I will.
Yeah. I don't think he's selling it. The guys, they were just chatting.
What, you don't want to buy my Browning A5?
What do you have, David?
Isn't that the one I bought off you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
wait a minute. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, did you guys see?
I have been through so many frigging guns, I can't keep track of half of them where they've gone.
Did you guys see the Benelli SPE 328 gauge? And
yeah,
that
almost bought one.
I can't. I've been trying to get one from Canada, but the special thing about them is that they now come chambered for 3-inch.
Yeah. So is the Ethos.
The Ethos does too. Okay. I was pretty shocked about it.
Way ahead of you.
Have you picked your new gun yet, Dave?
Not yet.
No.
I kind of.
Dave, if you refer back to an episode with Mr. Pomeroy, you should look into proper gun fit before selecting your gun.
The problem, you know what? That'd be great if there was a gun.
Yeah.
If there was a gun shop near me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but everything's kind of like online order and.
Okay, so that's a good point. So we say that. So fellas, all the time we see it on social media. People go, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at buying a new gun. What does anybody suggest? Everybody says whatever fits you best. And I've used that statement
every single time. I fucking copy and paste fucking Matt Pomeroy's episode. Watch this first.
Personally,
so if you don't have a gun store close by where you can fucking try it or know what you're looking for,
some days you just gotta wing it. Like if you have friends that you can shoot their guns, or
I totally winged it on my A300. Yeah, totally winged it.
How many times do you actually see an ad for a gun and go, man, I want that? Or
every day.
Or you see a gun that your buddy shoots when you're at a camp or just hunting with a buddy and you go, man, this one feels nice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I've done that, yeah.
Like, I don't see too many gun ads other than that really long one with Tony Vandemore for the Super Black Eagle.
Yeah,
that was the longest advertisement for a gun I'd ever watched, but it's like, a good show.
Like I hunted with the boys there from Grand River Fowl last year, and it was close to opener. I think within the first week or two, anyways. So I still had my Super Black Eagle 320 gauge with me. So I tossed the boys the M2 20 gauge. I'm like, here, try this out. Like, here's some ammo, shoot it. And like, I can't remember which one of the boys shot it first, and he got the more use out of it than the other one. But they're like, yeah, how much do you want for it? I'm like, nope. Like they were sold. Like it became an extension of their arms and their body. Like they shot it so well. Again, like just one of those anomalies where like, you know, you mesh with the gun and the moon and the stars and the gravitational pull are all in alignment. But like,
did you sell that gun by the end of the year?
No, but
oh,
my M2 is still in the safe, bro. She ain't going nowhere.
I was gonna say that'd be awesome if it was the gun that you sold or something.
No, that one ain't going nowhere. I ended up selling the Super Black Eagle 320 gauge. We just weren't getting along. I tried, and I tried shimming it. It's like my Super Black Eagle 2 in 12, my M2 in 20, my Ethos 28. Like I had them all shim the same, and just the Super Black Eagle 3 and 20. Just we weren't friends. So it's since departed the safe.
Now, is it not fair to say that a lot of the problems that you'll have with your gun, you could actually, like if you pattern it, you'll see where it's shooting and what's wrong?
Oh, 100%. Like again, right. You know, there's certain, for lack of a better phrase, like there's certain, you know, ammunitions that work well in certain guns, but it may not work, you know, well in all of them. Like it's kind of like a well-known fact that the Savage 220, so Savage's bolt action 20 gauge slug gun, loves the Remington AccuTips. That may not work for all of the 220s. My father and a number of his buddies in their deer camp, they run 870s, the Challenger slugs. These guys run these things night and day. It may not work for every single 870. Like, you know, there's those anomalies where, you know, like, yeah, this has been a proven recipe, and you just get that one odd gun. It's just like, no, I don't like that. I want this. Mm-hmm. And this is where your proper patterning comes into play. Where, like, spend the time, spend a couple bucks. If you can, you know, mooch some rounds off some buddies and stuff and hit paper, do it. And it'll save you so much grief in the end. And you get better kill ratio, and you're not wounding birds.
Mm-hmm. A great idea that was brought to my attention was when you buy our Punisher packs, you can take the cardboard, fold it out, put one of the goose decoys, trace it, you got your target.
Boom.
It was designed that way.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, we tried to get it so that the goose head was printed on, but then we thought it would be an art project for you. So there you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, food for thought.
Hey, boys.
Anyway, I think that's time.
Yeah, it's time. Ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of a mishmash show for you tonight. A little bit different. No guest tonight, but we will be back. Got a great guest lined up for next week. So if everything goes according to plan, we'll have a great guest. That'll be a lot of fun. Dave's got one that's in the pipe too that we just got to try and get squared away. And
if you're listening to the show, message me back, please.
Yeah. And I'm trying to work on things too. But
yeah, so we've got some great guests in that's in the hopper right now that just trying to work our schedules and theirs. But as always, everybody, thanks so much for listening, especially to us wing nuts as we banter back and forth. Listen, as you all know, we are big fans of First Light, Real Geese, Vortex, Canadian Waterfowl Supplies, you name it. These are the people that support us, and we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you to go out and support those companies because they are so good to us. And I bet you if you reached out and you said that you heard about them through us, they'd definitely love to hear that. So
never mind how good they are to us, they make some goddamn solid products.
That goes without saying. We wouldn't be with them if they weren't. Last word to you, Philly.
Gentlemen, again, the proverbial hockey sock. But again, we're in the dead heat of friggin' summer. It's like 30 something bloody degrees out without humidex here in Ontario. But yeah, just dying, just itching to get out and hunt. Looking forward. I will be most likely in attendance at Camp 2.0. With
first come, first serve. You got to be on time, Phil.
Whatever.
No special treatment.
Whatever. But yeah, I will most likely be there. I hope a number of our loyal fans get in on this and be able, you know, make it out. And again, it's a banger time, great social event. Again, I said this before and I say this again. I don't go there to hunt. I go there solely for the social aspect, to make these connections and just see old friends, talk complete and utter bullshit, crush some cigars, couple wobblies, and just there for the absolute good time. I don't know when you guys, this is a you planning thing, not me. I'm just here for the show. But this will get dropped soon. Guys, get in on this. We highly recommend it. It's a good time. So hope to see you there.
Absolutely. Dave.
Yeah, I know. Great episode and good to talk to you boys. It's kind of my weekly reminder that I have a reason to get off the couch. So
migrate from one seat to another.
Yep. Yep. So, I got to put a shirt on. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, hey, do you have pants on? Likely not.
Likely not. Look out when he gets let out of. He'll be like a fucking prisoner let out of jail. I'll never get. You know what? This is as much as it sucks that Dave is laid up. It's bliss for me because I send him a message, I get an answer right away. It's awesome, unless he's having a nap. When he's back full go, when he's doing his things.
Yeah, when the meds have worn off.
Can't get an answer from him. He's so busy all the time.
I stopped taking meds 24 hours after surgery.
No,
So I kind of needed it a few times, but I said, no, I'm going to.
Yeah, shit's bad for you.
Yeah. Other than that green energy, but whatever.
The natural.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 105. We're going to get out of here before we incriminate ourselves. Big love. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, like, follow, spread the word about us. We'd really, really appreciate it. Big love. Until next week.